Imagine starting your poultry farm with so much excitement only to lose half of your chicks in the first few weeks. That would be heartbreaking, right? Unfortunately, this happens to many beginners. To avoid this painful experience, you need to watch this video. I'm going to share 5 key poultry farm operations every beginner must learn before starting a farm. Even if you plan to hire experts, you must know these basics. Why? Because if your workers realize you know nothing, they can easily take advantage of you. For example, if you don't know how much feed your chickens need daily, your workers might overcharge you. If you don't track egg production, they might collect 500 eggs and tell you they only got 300, and you wouldn't even question it. Watch this video to protect yourself and your business. You'll thank me later. Let's start with the first and most important operation, brooding. The first few weeks of a chick's life decide everything: their health, growth, and even how well they lay eggs in the future. If you mess up this stage, you'll struggle with diseases and losses for a long time. That's why brooding management is a must-learn skill. So, what is brooding? It simply means taking care of baby chicks until they can keep themselves warm. This usually takes around 4 to 6 weeks. Temperature control is the most important thing. Chicks need warmth because they can't produce enough body heat on their own. That's why a mother hen keeps her chicks under her wings when it's cold. If you buy day-old chicks, you become their mother. For the first week, keep the brooder at 32 to 35 degrees Celsius, which is about 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Then, slowly reduce the temperature each week. If you don't have a thermometer, don't worry. Just watch your chicks. If they are huddling together under the heat, they are cold and need more warmth. If they are spreading out and panting, they are too hot, so you should reduce the heat. If they are moving around comfortably, then you've got it just right. Bedding is another important part of brooding. A dirty brooder is a disease factory. You should use clean, dry bedding like wood shavings or rice husks and change it regularly. If bedding gets too dirty, ammonia builds up, which can cause breathing problems and stress for your chicks. When chicks arrive, they've had a long, stressful journey. The first thing they need is not food but energy. Give them glucose water or vitamins to help them recover. After that, start them on a high-quality chick starter feed with 18 to 22% protein. This helps them grow strong and healthy. Never compromise on feed quality because poor nutrition leads to weak birds that struggle their entire lives. Keeping everything clean is just as important as feeding them properly. Hygiene is everything. You should clean feeders and drinkers every day to prevent infections. Diseases spread fast in a crowded brooder, and a single outbreak can kill many chicks within days. So, now that we've made sure your chicks have a strong start, what comes next? Even with the best care in the first few weeks, your poultry farm will not succeed without proper feeding and water management. If there is one thing that directly affects how well your chickens grow, stay healthy, and produce eggs, it is their diet. You can have the best housing, the best breed, and the best protection against diseases. But if you do not feed them properly, they will never reach their full potential. Many beginners make 2 big mistakes. Some overfeed their chickens and waste a lot of money because they do not know how much feed is actually needed. Others try to save money by giving less feed, but this only results in weak birds that do not grow well or lay enough eggs. In the end, trying to cut costs on feed becomes a very expensive mistake. So how do you feed them the right way? Chickens go through different growth stages, and each stage needs a specific type of feed. For example, if you are raising layers, from day 1 to 6 weeks, chicks need starter feed with about 18 to 22% protein. This high protein level helps them grow fast and develop a strong immune system. From 6 to 18 weeks, they switch to grower feed with about 14 to 16% protein. At this stage, you do not want them to gain too much weight. Just grow at a steady, healthy rate. Finally, at 18 weeks, or when at least 5% of your flock starts laying eggs, it is time to give them layer feed. This feed has about 16 to 18% protein and extra calcium to make their eggshells strong. But feeding is not just about how much feed you give. It is also about when you give it. The best way is to feed chickens twice a day, once in the early morning and once in the late afternoon. This keeps them active and prevents them from going hungry for too long, which can make them stressed and aggressive. Also, never give them spoiled or moldy feed. Chickens cannot vomit, so if they eat bad feed, they cannot get rid of the toxins, which can make them very sick or even kill them. Now, let's talk about water. This is one area where many beginners go wrong. Chickens drink about twice as much water as they eat, but many farmers forget to check if their water is clean, fresh, and enough for all the birds. Dirty, warm, or too little water can cause dehydration, stress, and slow growth. Always provide clean water and place the drinkers in shaded areas to keep the water cool. During hot weather, dehydration can kill chickens faster than hunger. Making sure your chickens have the right feed and enough clean water is one of the best ways to keep them healthy and productive. Get this right, and you will see strong birds, good egg production, and a successful poultry farm. Even with the best feeding and water management, there is still one hidden danger that can destroy everything: diseases. The easiest and cheapest way to protect your chickens from deadly outbreaks is through biosecurity. Imagine this: you have worked so hard to raise your chickens, and just when they are about to start laying eggs, they suddenly fall sick. In just a few days, you lose half of them. The worst part? It could have been prevented. Diseases are one of the biggest threats to poultry farmers everywhere. But here is the good news. Most of these diseases can be avoided with proper biosecurity. And the best part? It costs almost nothing compared to the losses you would suffer if disease spreads on your farm. So, what is biosecurity? Simply put, it means keeping diseases out of your farm. Many poultry diseases have no cure, so the only solution is to prevent them before they happen. The first rule of biosecurity is to limit visitors on your farm. People can carry diseases without knowing it, on their clothes, shoes, or even their hands. Unless it is necessary, do not allow outsiders to enter your poultry house. And if someone must come in, make sure they clean their shoes using a foot bath at the entrance. A simple basin filled with disinfectant can save you from dangerous infections. Cleanliness is another important part of biosecurity. Your poultry house, feeders, drinkers, and the areas around them should be cleaned regularly. A dirty environment attracts bacteria, viruses, and pests like rats and flies, which spread diseases. Rodents, in particular, are a silent killer on poultry farms. They carry deadly viruses and can contaminate feed with their droppings. To keep your farm free from rodents, seal any holes, use traps, and store feed in closed containers. Many beginners make the mistake of mixing new birds with their existing flock immediately after buying them. This is very risky. Whenever you buy new birds, you should quarantine them for at least 2 weeks before letting them join your flock. This waiting time helps you check if they are sick. Many farmers ignore this step, only to realize too late that they have brought in a deadly disease. If a bird gets sick, you must act fast. Isolate it immediately, because sick birds spread diseases faster than you think. Keep it in a separate area and watch it closely. If the disease is contagious, separating the sick bird early can prevent the entire flock from getting infected. But here is something most beginners do not realize. Biosecurity alone is not enough. Some diseases are airborne or spread so easily that even the cleanest farm is not completely safe. That is why every poultry farmer needs one more layer of protection: vaccination. Some poultry diseases are so aggressive that even the cleanest farm cannot stop them. That is why vaccination is a must for every serious poultry farmer. Think of vaccination like giving your chickens a shield. It does not stop diseases from coming, but it helps their immune system fight back. Without vaccines, one infection can kill all your chickens in just a few days. And the worst part? Most of these deadly poultry diseases have no cure. The only way to protect your birds is through prevention. So, which vaccines do you need? While vaccination schedules can be different in each region, there are some that every poultry farm must have. The most important ones include Newcastle disease, a fast-spreading virus that causes twisted necks, paralysis, and a high number of deaths. Gumboro disease, also called infectious bursal disease, which attacks young chicks and makes their immune system weak, leaving them open to other diseases. Marek's disease, a deadly virus that causes tumors and paralysis. This vaccine is usually given at the hatchery before you even receive your chicks. Fowl pox, a disease that causes scabby sores on the face and comb, making chickens grow slowly and reducing egg production. Infectious bronchitis, a virus that affects the breathing system and lowers egg production in layers. Now, how do you give these vaccines? There are 4 main ways. The first method is through drinking water. This is the easiest method, but the water must be very clean and should not have chlorine because chemicals can destroy the vaccine. The second method is through eye drops or nose drops. This method is more effective, but it requires careful handling to make sure all birds get the right dose. The third method is injection. This is mostly used for Marek's disease at the hatchery and for fowl typhoid. The fourth method is spraying. This is commonly used for respiratory diseases like Newcastle disease and infectious bronchitis. The vaccine is mixed with water and sprayed as a fine mist over the birds. As they breathe, they take in the vaccine. This method is best for vaccinating a large number of birds at once, but it must be done in a closed space to make sure the vaccine reaches all the chickens. Timing is very important. Some vaccines, like Marek's disease, must be given when the chick is just 1 day old. Others, like Newcastle disease and Gumboro, need booster doses at different weeks. The best way to stay on track is to get a vaccination schedule from your hatchery or a vet. Missing a dose could leave your birds unprotected, and once disease strikes, it is usually too late to save them. As a beginner or someone planning to start a poultry farm, you need to understand poultry housing and how to use space properly. A good poultry house does 3 important things. It keeps your birds comfortable, helps prevent diseases, and allows them to grow well and be productive. First, let's talk about space. For layer chickens, you need at least 6 birds in 1 square meter if you are using the deep litter system. For broilers, since they grow fast and do not need much movement, you can keep 10 to 12 birds in 1 square meter. If you are raising chickens in a free-range system, they need both a shelter and enough outdoor space to move around freely. Another important thing is ventilation. Chickens produce a lot of heat and moisture, and if fresh air does not flow properly, ammonia from their droppings will build up. This can cause serious breathing problems and make the birds sick. To avoid this, make sure your poultry house has open sides covered with wire mesh or enough windows placed in the right spots to allow fresh air to circulate. There are different types of poultry housing systems. One common system is the deep litter system, where birds stay on the floor with bedding material like wood shavings or rice husks. This is an affordable option, but you need to clean it often to keep it dry and free from diseases. Another system is the battery cage system, where chickens are kept in individual cages with feeding and drinking areas. This system is great for layer chickens because it makes egg collection easier, but it requires more money to set up and good management. The third system is the free-range system, where birds have outdoor access while still having a shelter. This is a good option for organic and backyard farming, but it requires a lot of space and strong fencing to keep predators away. Lighting is also very important, especially for layers. Chickens need between 14 to 16 hours of light every day to lay eggs properly. If natural daylight is not enough, farmers use artificial lighting to maintain a steady egg-laying cycle. Another thing to always remember is to keep the bedding dry. Wet litter creates a perfect environment for bacteria and parasites. If you enter your poultry house and smell a strong ammonia odor, it means cleaning is overdue. Always turn the bedding, remove wet spots, and keep everything dry to ensure a healthy environment for your birds. Now you have learned the 5 most important poultry farm operations: brooding, feeding, biosecurity, vaccination, and housing. If you master these, you will have a strong foundation for a successful and profitable poultry farm. Here's a question for you. Which of these 5 operations do you think is the most challenging? Let me know in the comments. And if this guide has been helpful, do not forget to subscribe for more poultry farming tips. But there is one more big question. Is poultry farming really profitable in the year 2025? What are the actual costs, earnings, and market trends? If you are serious about starting a poultry farm, you need to know this before investing your money. Do not stop here. Click on the video on your screen right now to learn about the profitability of poultry farming in 2025, including cost breakdowns, market trends, and everything you need to make the right decisions. See you in that video.